thing to see.
Okay, can you...
hi.
Oh,
hi.
Please don't rub. Okay. So, welcome everyone to another chaotic episode of What the Hell's Happening with Dead by Daylight today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good to have you faces here today. Thank you, Bjorn, for helping us make this slightly less crazy. I am trying to get my... There you go. Okay, thank you to our mods in the channel right now. I'll get a list and give you props because it's always good to have people. There you go. I have a list here. So our mods, again, joining us, we have... Oh, there's a equip someone. I don't know what that means. So we have Gitawid, Murph, Ryuri, Shiroku, and Suggestive. I'm sure some of them are also hiding in the Discord channel, so thank you very much for helping us with this.
Is that Twitch staff?
Yeah, probably.
Hi,
So
Twitch.
hello, Twitch staff person called Sour Not Hardcore. Okay, so
Apologies for the name mangle.
but welcome nonetheless. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now. So as you may have noticed, we are right now with our heads down, plowing ahead on, onwards to our June update, which is going to be massive. But in the meantime, we've patched a few things. We're trying to make a few things better. So there was a patch that came out, I think, yesterday on PC, and most likely it's happening right now on PS4 and Xbox One. I don't know exactly the moment if it's happened already. But I'll talk a little bit about what's in that patch. We have this here.
Would be the last
There you go.
page.
So,
Yeah.
the big things, well, we fixed a few things with the Polish and Japanese localization. We also fixed a glitch where people could potentially equip every single perk in the game.
And
Yeah.
add-on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
That was
made
a
for
fun one.
a heavy loadout.
It did.
Yeah. And then we put a few bug fixes that have to do with more rigorous and solid fail saves against loss of progress.
Yeah.
And some things with EAC so that there's even fewer ways to cheat into the game.
I hear the loss of progress is doing quite well.
Actually, it's doing very poorly, the loss of progress, which is great.
Right.
Yes, that's
Maybe
sickness.
we should clarify.
Yeah. So we are getting fewer and fewer reports of people having loss of progress, which is great, which is what we want. Yeah. So I'm getting an update here from our delightful Dick Fort. I'm sure we'll have some stats. Okay, and we that's it. So most of it had to do with fixing this. Also, there was a Nia outfit that was available for a moment to everyone. That's part of the 80s suitcase. Tickets through the floor. We're pleased here. I didn't know that was an expression.
Through the floor.
Through
I
the
guess-
roof,
through
I
the
guess,
roof
but
would be-
this makes
Way
absolute
down.
sense.
That's wonderful.
Your mastery of the English language impresses us all. Thank you very much, Nikki. So yeah, that is quickly talking about the patch. It's one of those almost invisible patches because you don't see many effects in game, but it's a massive one in terms of stability and making sure that the game actually does not break when you play it.
I saw a lot of memes on the internet, like disappointed opening present memes, like, oh, an update, and they open it and they're sad. But this is good, guys. We fixed bugs and
No, but I get it. It's the same thing as when you're a kid. I don't know if you remember that time, but then you get like socks.
yeah.
Although socks would be a bad example because they're pretty poor as a gift. But
I love getting socks.
You know, now I've actually appreciated getting clothing.
yeah,
Yeah, because now I have to buy it myself. So I really appreciate when I do buy my clothing.
you're like a good hoodie, and you're like, damn right.
That's what I got. I
yeah.
was so happy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's warm. So good.
Yeah, so that's exactly what's happening. You're getting a present, you're opening it, and what we're giving you is a more solid game, which is harder to cheat. And you're like, but I'm not getting a new power, and my
Like, I
perks
wasn't
aren't
cheating, so
buffed.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Should we go?
maybe, okay. I seem to read out loud. Yes, it's true. I have a bit of a Ron Burgundy thing going. If you write things, I will read them.
It's true.
So I'll start with the Q&A this week, just because there's a few things in there that lead into the stuff that we want to talk about
it's segues.
afterwards.
Segues are
Segues,
fantastic.
exactly.
Okay.
So thank you again, Murph, for providing us with the Steam questions. The first one here says, will there be a new map for the Crotus Pren Asylum and other single map realms in any of the upcoming updates?
That sounds like a great question.
That also sounds like a thing we would absolutely do. There are examples
I like
in
that.
the past, historical examples, like the swamp,
Yeah.
have received new maps.
It's true.
Therefore, please take that as an answer that absolutely we want to revisit the realms that have seen very few things.
More of a
The exceptions are usually the licensed ones. It's harder to really play with. Then again,
we almost had like
suburbs are
Haddonfield
suburbs.
and
Yeah.
suburbs. Yeah. It was good.
Can people who bought the Doc and Hag DLC with money get a cosmetic for these killers? As example, the red dress for the Hag. As a thank you, people who unlock this via playtime won't get these cosmetics. So there's two parts to that. Yes, we talked internally a lot about the people who paid money for something that will now become available to grind. There are very good arguments to be said for, people have been playing, you've been playing with the Hag for a year now, so that has value. Whether it's worth $7 to you or not, that's up for debate, let's say. But we think that this has value. But there's also the side that we want to make sure that if you buy things, specifically the chapters with cash, there might be a slight difference. The red dress, probably overreaching because a lot of people are waiting for that red dress.
That's true.
But yes, there could very well be cases where you'll have a little something in the chapter pack that you will not find if you buy all these things or grind all these things through the shop. Okay, when there's someone on the hook and the killer grabs the person that's trying to unhook the person, why can't other survivors unhook the person on the hook while the killer is grabbing the person and actually moves from the spot?
We try to do one interaction at a time. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a complication in the system where one person is currently being interrupted. Interruption is part of the interaction. That person is not.
But in this case, it would be the killer grabbing someone who's doing something, and then someone else. But they're still sort of interacting with the hook, so it's all gets a little messy.
It might be for the whole duration of the interrupt that you can't actually interact with the guy on the hook. So maybe that's a bug.
I've never looked into this issue in particular, but it sounds like I'm not surprised based on how the interaction system works.
Me neither.
It sounds like it would be a cool thing to change if
I agree.
if we could.
I think it's
Right.
cool. I think it's a great question. Thank you.
Any info on upcoming balance changes and new tiles? You mentioned new kinds of jungle gyms. Can we get a preview on them? Very yes is the answer I put there.
Very yes.
Oh, okay. Yes,
So
very yes.
that's the segue. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, and we're actually going to show you that with visual aids.
Very cool.
Everybody loves visual aids.
AIDS in your eyes, Jen.
Yes. Any updates on emblems rebalancing, especially for survivors? We don't have updates specifically on that, but the emblems are being scrutinized to an extent that is pretty impressive. So we're getting
we found
stats.
a couple bugs and things too.
Yeah, we're getting feedback, we're getting stats, which we're going to look at. But also there are bugs, just things that are not working as intended that we think should be fixed to make sure that what we're looking at is the proper thing. But there will definitely be rebalancing of the emblem system. That's going to happen, for sure. Any console optimization plan for Xbox One and Xbox One X? So the optimizations for console, whether it's Xbox One, Xbox One X, PS4, PS4 Pro, or all of these, they're ongoing. We're continually trying to find ways to scrounge a little more performance off of these machines. This is a bad example, but usually every patch we have at least a little improvement, a little something, and we scrounge a few more frames per second.
We were someone talked to me about it the other day, actually, talking about the effects of the killers and how, like, the stalking for Myers, and how it takes a lot of memory, and not memory, but GPU.
Yeah.
GPU or CPU? CPU, I think it was.
That'll be it.
Yeah, thank you. He's a programmer. So at the bottom line, we are looking to do these kind of things, and we are aiming to do it across the board. Obviously for the bigger hits first, and then roll out the smaller hits. But obviously, I think The Doctor is one of those vendors. Freddy, Wraith, and
It's mostly
Myers.
the total screen effects
The
that
distortion
are
is
very,
the big
very
thing.
hungry.
Exactly.
I was in a performance meeting recently. The Doctor, because you guys mentioned him, he's one in particular who doesn't run so well on the Xbox because
Yeah.
of just some things
Treatment.
that he does. It's not just that, even just the calculations that are run for the insanity effect
Oh, for sure.
are just a little bit too more costly than they have to be based on the way that they were done. So like that's a potential avenue we're looking at for optimization. Although I think we prefer looking first at things that affect all killers, so that it will get gains all the time, and then we go down to like sub cases that only happen some of the time.
Fire barrels.
Fire barrels.
Yeah. Probably not fire barrels, but yeah.
Could you talk about the town of Weeks? What happened in this town, and is it possible to have it as a map someday in the game?
What is that?
We could talk about the town of Weeks. That's the answer, but not today.
I'm not even sure what that is.
And is it a map? Is it going to someday be a map in the game? Probably not.
Is it weeks with an A or weeks with an E?
With two E's.
Oh, okay. I was assuming there was one E.
So
Yeah.
go look that up. It's an
We'll
obscure
check it out.
piece of trivia.
Cool.
Will you tell us more about the entity? He's a very interesting character, so that's a bold statement here about.
Assuming his gender
Oh my God!
in current year.
Taking fact that we don't know actually why he wants survivors and why he created his own world. So we will tell you more about the entity because it's fun, but it's still gonna be like eye drop dosage constantly being dripped over you through the flavor text for add-ons and perks and
So you better
powers.
open your eyes so that the drops have
Yes.
full
Yeah.
and most
Sink,
effect.
let that sink in. I'm curious if the entity is an ancient god and what area of the world it might have originated in, or if it came from Earth at all, or if it's growing in power and will eventually get to a concerning amount. Oh,
That's a cool question.
yes. Yes, these are very good questions. Where is it from? Is it from here? Is it from somewhere else and just managed to shred some of the walls between realities?
I thought home was where the heart is. You know, here, there, aren't we from everywhere?
No, we're not.
Oh, come on.
Maybe that's just you. It's beautiful that you're a citizen of the earth or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's omnipresent, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like
Well,
it
in
anyways.
that world, certainly,
Yeah.
because we'll talk about, well, not today, but really quickly, we will start giving you a few more pieces of information in June, actually, about the scientific makeup of that universe. A little bit. You're smirking. That's
I think
good.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, good. Will lore get added like it used to be in the future? Yes.
Like it used to be in the future?
Or
This is some Days of Future Past stuff.
Yeah, we will have had no. Or are you planning on changing the way we get additional lore? We're not going to change things more, except the thing is, since we're going to release a lot of costumes, you're going to probably get a lot more backstory on the characters and a few more facets to interpret them in, which is going to be very interesting. And as a side note on that, we also want to find more ways to tell the story, whether it's other forms, other mediums, comic books, TV shows.
Interpretive dance.
Poems.
Yes.
Ooh,
Poems.
I like the interpretive dance.
Yeah.
It'd be like a bunch of Megs just going, flashlight.
I thought we
Flashlight.
would do it. We could do
Oh,
a
we
web-
could do it?
a web-
Ooh.
weekly web series.
Well, then wait for
I
that.
want to see Bjorn's interpretation of our game in dance form. With
He's down.
props.
He's down.
With props. Yeah.
With our host
No, well, you
Stefan
haven't seen
Horvath.
Bjorn, but he's
Get
he's
out of here.
fit.
Is that what he wrote? Oh.
And light.
Oh.
Okay, since you didn't want to change Predator until the scratch marks were fixed, and now that they're fixed, what changes are you planning to make to Predator?
I would love, well, Predator and Lightweight are obviously two sides of a similar scratch mark coin. I think that we wanted to increase the volume of the footsteps when you use Predator and reduce the volume of your own footsteps when you use Lightweight.
Do you mean like audio volume or
Audio
like
volume.
the size of which they are?
You mean like the sides at which you hear the actual
No, the
sound?
size of the
Like-
the scratch marks, because the question was
Yeah.
about the scratch marks.
Yes, so it'd be your footsteps
So the
You're
audio
running
would be
with your
reduced,
audio,
and the
yeah.
scratch marks might be.
I think the scratch marks are reduced by 3 seconds or increased by 3 seconds, depending if you're the killer or the survivor. So I think it already does that kind of stuff. If we were to make it smaller, it means it's a lot easier for you to be found. But at the same time, it means it might not be on trees and stuff.
Yeah.
So he'd have to be right behind you to see you. I'm not sure if that would be the route that we want to go. It might break how
Yeah.
lightweight is seen. And Predator, if it was spread out, might make it more complicated instead of made better. So we'll
For
see.
the entity, home is where the hurt is.
See, that makes sense.
Thanks.
Ha!
Like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, if you guys have comments or whatnot, let me know, and we'll see if that's something that we can do.
Good. Bjorn, I don't want to be a dick, but there's a bit of a. Anyway.
I think it's because he forgot the accent, so isn't it just Côté?
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was being kind.
Don't Ask Me Again asks, will you fix the bugs with Dead Hard that came with the rework patch 191? Dead Hard takes longer to activate than it would have. Sometimes you hit Dead Hard, see the exhaustion meter, and the killer downs you anyway.
This is quite interesting that this conversation comes up today, because yesterday when we were looking at Dead Hard to fix the Dead Hard exploits where, you know, I don't know if you heard about this, but you can get on top of objects and whatnot with Dead Hard. You can subscribe to the Survivor Space program and bounce off objects and launch yourself up onto things as well, similar to the Hillbilly. Obviously, Hillbilly is first. So there are things that we need to change with Dead Hard, but while we were testing that, we noticed that there is a hiccup as you press the interaction button to trigger Dead Hard, which significantly lowers your speed and then jacks back up. So it might be during that time period that Dead Hard is not active as it's trying to kick into the proper acceleration or not. We'll take a look and hopefully we'll fix it. We'll iron it out. I think that would be the best way to say it.
We're working on it.
Yeah. I wanted to say we're ironing. Yeah, sure. We're working on it. We're working on it.
There's a reoccurring question here. If the killers ever met each other, would they fight each other? That's an interesting one.
Do you think
some of them are fighters and some of them are?
Well, that's the thing. I think that I'd go farther and say that some of them, for them, violence is the only way they can express their feelings. But
so it could be like a way of showing their love.
Yeah, it's a confused and painful way, but maybe.
It'd probably be awkward, like a Reddit meetup.
Yeah, probably. There's like harsh feelings in there that are sort of confused and all mushed together with people who are not used to talking. So that's yeah. It probably wouldn't go well. It's like maybe two of them would actually be friends.
Yeah.
Fist bump and be happy, but I don't think so. It's Nurse and the Huntress. Maybe they get along.
Compare chainsaws and grunt at each other.
Yeah. Like swap oils.
Oh no.
Okay. In regards to the leaderboards in the future, will the killers be separated to allow for individual killer rank rewards? As a hag main, I'd love to be able to compare my performance to other hag players and possibly earn a cosmetic reward for achieving an exceptionally difficult task with her. I'm sure other mains of specific killers would love this feature as well. So that's a good idea.
I think it'd be amazing. It reminds me of like Diablo 2 and their leaderboards, and the fact that you can have like an overall leaderboard where everyone is kind of in it, and they were doing it for XP, obviously. So you'd have like a mix of everybody, and then you'd have the specific classes, you know? So even though you might not be competitive against the paladin who likes to hammerden, you know, old stuff, you can still play your own character and, you know, feel like you are the top.
So essentially it's a matter of filtering the leaderboard so you can just see certain...
It seems more likely that we'd see something like that on the leaderboards when they exist rather than as like a rank thing.
It would be probably...
Yeah, but that's what they're talking about.
Oh, it said
in
leaderboards
regards to the leaderboards in the future.
There you go. I should have listened more carefully.
Yes.
That sounds super cool.
That's why I said great idea.
Great
right
idea.
There. Hey devs, with the growth of Behavior Digital, have you put any thought to improving older character animations and improving graphic quality of existing maps and texture? Would be cool to see a fresh take on older killers and survivors and even redesign no maps. Thanks. So, yes, obviously we've given thought to that, but it's always a matter of weighing that against new content.
Yeah.
And usually new content wins.
Yeah.
Even if it means a new, let's say you take the Trapper or the Wraith and you go, we could redo the original outfit or we could make a new outfit.
Yeah.
And then we go, oh, let's make a new outfit. So usually that's how those conversations go. There are exceptions like maybe the Moris or something where we could probably revisit those, but every single time it's gonna be a question of do we do that or do we do new content? Which I put it to you. What would you rather see? New content or shiny revisions of existing content?
Incoming flame war.
Yeah, it's a very valid debate. What are the rank statistics after the emblems update? So I went to ask Julien, or a stats wizard, and he told me, yeah, I'm working on it. And I said, oh, you think maybe I can have it before the stream? And he said, no.
Oh.
So yes, we will try to share these as they come in. It's not a simple matter, and it's just checking the curves of the levels as time goes by and see how people stack up now that the emblem system is up and running, has been for a little bit, and people at least understand better how to use it properly. Are there any plans to implement? Okay, no, I'll talk about that some other time.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to this.
Oh my
and we can
goodness.
talk about. There's some important information there. Like, yes, I'm running small game.
That is going to be the most important information, I think.
Okay, so let's just go see. So this is
Come a little closer. Come a little closer.
This is the today's dev build from like 20 minutes ago, something like that.
Yes.
It's hot off the presses.
Yeah. So obviously we have to be careful because there's so much stuff in there that you can't see. But there is some stuff that you can see. So this is a map that's been slightly reworked.
Look at that box.
Oh my God, it's totally not straight.
It's tilted.
That's next gen stuff.
Walker's gonna be like, out of everything you guys showed, you showed a crooked box, and he's like, I'm proud of you guys. Thank you. So as we were talking about, obviously, Walker's been doing some little work here on the palette loops. Now it might not be as obvious to a lot of you, but right now he's added a few blockers, at least to this loop, which cause it to you won't be able to see as easily the player who's hiding by the palette. You see Myers chilling in the background. Let's take a look again. Hey, how you doing? So while you're sitting at the palette, now you can see that you have to orient yourself in a way to be able to see the killer himself. And that time, the delay itself that you will take to try to orient yourself to see the killer might be enough for him to take advantage of you. When you drop the palette, you'll be a sitting duck to try to pick your side. Matt is trying to make this more gameable in terms of a mind game, more fun, and not necessarily having to be just straight up shorter loops, but to have more gameplay and more action around these points instead of just running around, and running around. In addition to this change, and if you have any questions, please fire away. In addition to this change, we've also changed how we drop pallets. Now, what does this mean?
We need a big like in development disclaimer.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to put the thing that says this is not real.
Yeah.
So, don't you have an overlay that says this is all made up stuff?
You're imagining it.
So I'm gonna start, and before and Bjorn's gonna just add it. This is a work in progress. We are looking to aim to fix like palette vacuums specifically, and to make dropping pallets feel more intuitive, and to make it do what you want it to do. A lot of cases you'll drop a pallet and you'll do a switch, you'll switch to the other side. You'll cross over when you want it to stay on one side because you ran at it a little bit. Just give you a quick download. The way the pallets worked before is if you ran at the pallet and you press the space interaction bar, there was as long as you had forward momentum, you would get sucked to the other side super quickly because there was no actual animation or run time, which is what caused this vacuum to happen. Basing it on movement was kind of confusing because it's not something that you necessarily see on your side, and it kept the inertia. This is a lot of words right now.
It would track your velocity over time. So if you had been running, there was like a small window where you didn't feel like you were running, but it still said, hey, you're moving towards the thing, so I'm going to guess that you meant to go to the other side. You probably didn't, and so you've probably had times where you didn't end up where you intended to end up when you pulled the pallet.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a side note of that, in game development in general, getting controls, as soon as you have contextual controls, getting it to do exactly what I meant to do is an extremely deep ocean of potential mix-ups.
Yeah.
Because especially in situations like this, where you're like, oh my God, this is not what I wanted to do. Obviously I wanted to jump on the other side, and then you end up on the wrong side and you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
I thought I removed the notifications. Doesn't matter.
So, what we've done is you can no longer, it's no longer taking your movement, it will be taking your position and input, which is one of the coolest things. This is something that we wanted to try out for a long period of time, but also comes with the complication of changing how people play with palettes. It will need an adjustment period from a lot of people.
Yeah.
The idea would be to PTB this before we did anything else, because this is a fairly major change, and it comes with its package of issues or whatnot.
You want to start by like running through it to show what happens?
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to run through it and then drop it.
Yeah, like try to drop it as you run through it. Because right now, well, if you have the killer behind you, most people are running towards the pallet, and the moment you get into the interaction zone, you slam spacebar and you're safe because you teleported to the other side.
Yeah.
So this is an example of what we're looking at that would replace that.
Obviously, the feel is going to be a much better way to understand what's going on. But right now, you'll have to imagine. So we're going to run towards it. I'm spamming the spacebar, and I only dropped it once I've gotten to the other side.
Yep.
I'm no longer snapping across. This means I need to do the full movement of getting from one side to the other. I don't know if you want to write to Andre to reset that palette.
Please.
I will try to find
Well,
another
I think he's
one.
Listening, because obviously Michael Myers is watching.
Look at the palette.
He will slightly take 2 minutes to receive this information.
It's gonna rise.
Can I? Oh
It
my
rose!
God!
Amazing.
Teabag for
beautiful.
thank you, Mr. Myers. Yeah. So the pull down across, obviously you're gonna have to move completely across and then drop the pallet. If you wanted to drop it on one side, all you need to do is press the button and you will be dropping it on your side.
Yeah.
What's interesting is you'll always be doing the pull down with the spin,
It's pretty cool, huh?
right? The reason for the pull down for the spin is, and I'll show you again, because we can do that, is so that you can continue running. There shouldn't be a pause time. It should feel super smooth, then you can keep going, and it will be nice. Obviously, this is tweaking at this point, but it should feel pretty damn awesome. I'm kind of worried that he was going to reset
I thought he was
it
gonna
while
fling
I
you.
was on it, so I took a chance.
Okay.
Thank you, Andre. You are meticulous in your aspects and personality.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, it's a good guy.
Okay, so about this. Yeah,
This is interesting. So right now we're trying another thing on our side. Oh, first things first, I just wanted to mention when we actually were trying this, we just put in real time to the snap. So you'd actually be moving at your current speed during the whole time that you're snapping across the pallet to drop it. And we were using the animation of putting your hands up, so it looked like you were kind of thrillering across.
Oh, yeah.
And then you drop the pallet behind you.
The first iteration for the replacement of the vacuum, where you just like
The
try
simplest.
moving you at a reasonable pace through the interaction zone, but you were like just sliding through like that.
And it really sucked because you didn't have control of your character.
Yeah.
It was doing what you had set it to do, but you were locked in the position and the animation so long that usually you would end up getting hit by the killer. In actual fact, you'll probably get hit by the killer because you will lose the timing of dropping the pallet. You'll think that you can drop it way earlier than what you could. So this is all about readjusting and relearning to get to the point that we're at right now. I'm sitting.
He's like the guy when you have an interview on TV and he's just in the background going
It's
like
okay.
this.
He can't kiss me, so it's okay. But he could kill me, I guess that would be as violent. I seem to have lowered the
You've lowered the
brightness.
brightness, which we don't.
It's okay.
want.
It's okay. So right now I'm standing in the middle of the pallet. If I were to spam space, I'm not doing anything, right? We decided to put a dead zone because we didn't want to snap you from one side to the other, even a tiny amount of snap, because this would result in a vacuum,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because most people, during on how they've played and they've reacted with pallets, we end up pressing space while we're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And well, that's not enough anymore. You need to continually spam it to get to the other side and then drop it. It doesn't feel very good. It feels like it should have done something earlier because it always has. So we're investigating to put a slight snap.
Yeah, I think right before we came here,
I checked it out.
for the very next build coming out, it has no dead zone. It has like 2 zones overlapping a little bit with some contextual stuff about which direction you're looking if you're in a situation like this.
Exactly. Do it, Myers. I dare you. Ah! So, what you can do, he put it back up right away. He's like, no, sir. That would be an amazing killer perk. He's
Just
like, come
resetting
back.
pallets.
He's like, the killer can do it. That's weird.
Just time. It's just manipulating time.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So yeah, this is overall a change that we know that the community has asked for a long period of time. We want to get this into your hands, and we want to show that this is something that is actually very important to us, as something that we want to.
It puts you in prime teabagging position.
Yes, well, you're going to be facing away. That also means you're not going to be able to flashlight right away unless
well, you can
click and then you'll snap back, right?
The click will rotate you.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
So I'm super excited to see what how people experience this and how they if they enjoy it.
Okay.
Get away. Yeah, you know what? Fine. So I think this is quite exciting. I would love to hear your feedback and what you guys think on this.
Questions. I hope you're taking Huntress into consideration when reworking the pallet loops, and are the pickup truck hitboxes ever going to be changed? 2 questions. So, yes.
Yes.
So, are you taking the Huntress into consideration when you're talking about pallet loops?
If we're talking about like so I saw a wonderful video. I do not remember how to say the person's name. It starts with a Y, I believe. But he made a video about a lot of the collisions in our game when it comes to how.
Oh, seriously? That's
killed
beautiful.
it.
Okay, well, we're done with that part of the show then.
So Myers will, when he's stalking, actually misses. Well, he hits the collision as well as the Huntress in some cases, where he won't actually see the character. He just sees a part of the capsule and it works.
Okay.
So the collision issues on the trucks don't only affect the Huntress herself. It is the most obvious because you're trying to throw something at somebody and it hits the invisible air that's above it, right? But this is actually happening with Myers. This is actually happening with the chase as well. So the chase can sometimes cut earlier than it should. Thank you very much for the video, obviously, and this is something that we're definitely going to look at and hopefully fix in the recent months or the following months. I'm not sure what timeline that would be.
I heard people talking about the truck recently. I don't know what the details are, though.
The truck is one of the things, though. There needs to be a nice, good pass on everything to make sure they all function and they work together. What's interesting about the video is it identified a lot of different components that do play with this. Yeah.
Finally, I won't accidentally pull down a pallet instead of healing with my controller anymore.
Wouldn't that be cool? I think it'd be so cool. Is it plugged in? It's not even plugged in.
It is plugged
really.
in.
I'm
One of
kidding.
those.
I'm kidding.
You're like one of those.
Oh, okay.
All right, so, well, that's it. The battery died.
I didn't realize this wasn't plugged in.
No, it is. Oh, you mean like the actual battery isn't plugged in? I see what you mean.
Yeah. Oops. Usually the battery is good on these things. I don't know why. It's the first time this happens.
I swear this doesn't usually happen.
98 shows in.
You said it was burning up in here. It's too excited.
That's not bad. It's probably too many of us here at the same time, sucking the battery life.
Got too much attention.
So we will skip now to the next section of the program where we look at the amazing stuff that people have been making for us.
Yeah. Oh,
Or not for us, they probably do it for themselves.
Can I just put a shout out to Andre? Thank you for
Yes,
thanks,
thank you
Andre.
very much.
thank you for
Andre,
being Myers. That was
helping us with
our resident Myers today.
And give me a second to, screw that. You can tell me who made what. No, you can't, because Bjorn does not talk.
What?
It's not part of his contract definition, I think.
I knew you were going to say that. It's not part of his contract. He signs to us,
Yeah.
but it makes it very difficult to say names. It's true.
There you go. Seriously?
Oh, no.
Are you kidding me?
Was there anything else on that build that we wanted to have shown that we didn't get a chance to show?
Is there anything else on that build? No, that build,
there's
that
lots
build
on
has
that build.
nothing. It has nothing else. It's empty. No, I think there's other things. I can't put my finger on it. But
That we wanted to talk about,
Yeah.
yes. That we could.
I'm not sure. Well, so one of the changes for the loops, at least, I can fill some air. The loops themselves, we do want to block. We want to add more line of sight blockers. We want to reduce them. We want to modify the objects that are around them. These are tests that are currently happening in McLean. We haven't done them in the other maps just yet, and they're testing internally. So I'm not sure exactly when that's slated to go live. But this is definitely something that's important to us. We have found that it can have some very fun and exciting results. And to say that the safe pallets will not be gone, it just means that a lot of the pallets will be adjusted, and their overall playability hopefully is aiming towards a more fun aspect.
If I had a nickel for
Tell
every
me.
time I heard Matt Walker say the words mind game recently,
Yeah,
I'd be rich.
it's
With
true.
nickels?
Okay, well, I mean, depends on your definition of rich, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Well, you could buy your own socks, that's for sure.
That's right.
Oh, damn.
So let's start with what Andy Hollows made for us.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that is beautiful. Her face looks a little bit like the Wu-Tang Clan.
Is our screen always so small?
That's cream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I think, no, it used to be a
We used to have a
bigger
big
one.
TV.
Yeah.
What happened,
Nobody else
Bjorn?
I'm
knows.
not imagining
Budget
it.
cuts? Yeah. All right. Then we have Blade Wife. I like the wistful look.
Is it my imagination, or does she look extra swole?
She definitely does. I love her neck and her face. I mean, like we should make that. We should have swole Claudette.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
She, yeah.
Super.
Then we have David Flores.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the secret to his power.
I like that the doctor looks really distraught in this. I don't think he planned this. Jessica Wimberly created this really cool
Nice.
little campfire.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's lit.
You can
Then
take
we
off the
have
phone content as a work in
Kylie.
progress.
I like this. Thank you. Because this is actual real stuff. You don't need the banner
Yeah,
anymore.
they're done,
Yeah.
I think.
Beautiful. Thank you. Then we have Lee Cosley. Lickosley?
Oh.
He is also
A little.
pretty buff there.
Yeah.
He does lift.
He's got like Arnold arms.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah. It's more like the Stallone arms.
I mean, you can call it whatever you want. They were in competition for a long period of time.
Yeah. No, but today.
Oh, today, okay.
Oh, okay.
Then Maju.
Aww.
Oh, how adorable.
These are really great.
Yeah.
That's a tiny Wraith.
That's a tiny. But he's
stole
safe now.
I stole his head.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Then Nikolevna.
That's cool.
They probably are walking in slow motion right now.
Yeah.
Going somewhere exciting.
Yo, he's got his big hands.
Yeah. Then
Exactly.
Penguin created this. I'm not sure what the why.
It's so good. Did he steal a penguin face, or
No,
is
it's
he stealing
actually a
Leatherface's
human
face?
face.
Is it Leatherface's
Oh,
face?
it's a
Yeah.
human face over the penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
That's-
penguin wearing a human face.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you very much. Then PG.
That's cute.
Very cute. And the last one is from Sammy, I believe.
Oh damn.
Oh.
Nice.
We have very talented fans.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. Oh, extra thick trapper. Yeah. There we go. So, quick little recap of what we talked about today. We talked about the patch notes. So, it was one of those very unexciting presents that you receive full of solid adult gifts, which are
Okay.
about being robust and.
Solid adult game.
Yeah.
I was excited.
Well, there you go. We were excited because we want our game to be healthy and fit and work well and not be cheated on. But that's not as exciting, obviously, as
New stuff.
tweaks.
Oh yeah.
So that's what was in the patch. We
talked about palettes. We talked
Yeah.
about a bunch of questions as well.
So we answered the questions. We talked about the palettes and the changes to the map that we're doing right now. That if we decide that they will be a final product, they'll be tested in the PTB that you will see a couple of, I think 2 weeks before the June release.
Oh, we didn't shut a hatch. I was wondering if we could shut a hatch on
damn,
Steam.
we would have had to supercharge
That's the
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll show that next week then.
Yeah.
Number 99, we will have a killer close a hatch.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Mm-hmm. Number 7 will blow your mind.
That's right.
And that's it, really. That's all we had for today. So thank you very much, Bjorn, for helping us with this. Thank
you,
you,
Bjorn.
to gentlemen for taking some time out of your busy day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, André, and thank you to all of our mods. I see that Not Queen was passing by. Thank you very much. You're supposed to be off, but I appreciate that you come by. And yeah, that's it. Next time is going to be episode 99. We're getting very close to our explosive 100th episode.
That's crazy.
I can barely contain
crazy.
myself. So please feel free to write your feedback on any other stuff that we discussed here. Steam
Please.
forums, Reddit. Yeah, make your voice heard.
We're watching.
Gently. And that's it. On that note, have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll see you in the fog.